Today I'm doing a full teardown on my graphics card to repaste it and to check out some of this thermal putty from Siren. I'll link this in the description below. It's about $25 for 20 grams, and it should be just enough to cover the memory on the 7900 XTX. For the thermal paste, I'm going with Kingpin KPX. This is also about $25 for 3 grams, and I've used it on all of my CPUs and GPUs. It's always way better than the factory paste, and I highly recommend this stuff. It's great. All temps are within spec and everything's running great, but me being me, I just like to mess with stuff, and I want to see if I can squeeze just a little bit more performance out of it by potentially bringing down the core and the memory temps. I'll be doing a before and after comparison for temperatures across various games and of my 3D Mark scores. Here we go. That is one big chunking graphics card, and I'm gonna just work on it right here and move all the stuff out of the way, so I'll be back. Okay, so before we get started, a few things we're gonna need, starting with these gloves. They're just nitrile gloves, or latex glove works fine, doesn't matter. These aren't necessary for doing a teardown on your GPU or doing a simple repaste. I'm using them because this thermal putty is pretty sticky. It's going to get all over my fingers and all over everything. So those are going to come in handy. Then we have our thermal putty. We have our thermal paste for the actual chip itself, the GPU. And then just a pretty simple, bought this off Amazon toolkit. It's my little knockoff iFixit kit. So this is definitely going to come in handy. And some TP and rubbing alcohol. You can use paper towel too, but I just use toilet paper for whatever reason. All right, this little section here is going to be my screw section. Giggity. I'm going to lay them out in a way that I know what goes to what. And if you have the same card, this is the Sapphire Pulse, just know that there's little springy bits on these screws, and this one for some reason is glued to the back plate. So let me see if I can get that up without stretching it or damaging it. Is that lid glued? Got it. Just doing a quick look around to make sure. The last thing I want to do is just rip this right off and something is still attached. So, nope, hold on. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go prying at things. There's 2 more screws right here on the I/O bracket. So, glad I caught that. Before I go prying this thing off, I am going to take this fan plug out. I don't know if you can see this, or I can't see, so hope I'm at the right angle, but in here, right where you can kind of see the 2 metal prongs in there, I'm getting the flat head in there, and just very gently, I'm just wiggling the bit back and forth just to kind of work that connector up without having to pry on it too hard. Really just to get it started. There we go. Now, I'm pretty sure that's all the screws, but this thing still seems like it is on there. I noticed that there's also thermal pads on the back. I'm not going to be replacing those. I'm only doing the stuff on the front. Unless there's actual chips underneath there. I don't think there is. I think all the chips are on the front side of the board, and they're just using this as additional cooling. I'm only going to replace the pads on the front side of the board. I'm really taking my time here because I really don't want to break anything, but I'm almost certain there's nothing else keeping this attached. And I'm sure you guys all know this, but now is not the time to buy a new graphics card. What the fuck is holding this in? Like, there's nothing. Just going with the old wiggle it method here. What is keeping this fucking thing on here? There's no way that this isn't fucking coming apart. What else could possibly be holding this together? There we go. She's coming.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Golly. Alright, so it's just paste, and looks like all these thermal pads are still in good shape, which is a good thing because I ordered 20 grams, which was $20, so it's $1 per gram, pretty pricey, and that's as much as it comes with, and I'm not super confident that that's going to cover everything, but we'll see. So what I'm going to do, very carefully, because if I don't have enough, I need to be able to put these back on. Very carefully take these off and kind of put them, place them where they belong, so I can replace as I go. Alright, so now we'll clean some stuff up. I think I'm going to get a junk toothbrush real quick too, because to go to clean this up, there's all the gunk that's spilled out to the sides here that I'm not going to be able to get all with this piece of tissue. So we'll go ahead and we'll clean up the die a bit first, and that's 91% by the way. Alright, so I'm gonna go get a toothbrush real quick, get the rest of this junk off, and while I'm running to do that, I'm gonna put a little bit on here just to let it soak. And yes, this is totally fine. So let me grab that and I'll be right back. Alright, got a small toothbrush and I went and I grabbed some paper towel instead of toilet paper because that would probably be a little bit more helpful. This is a soft brush, by the way, because all these little capacitors or whatever here on the side of the chip, they can come off if you're not careful. For these thick parts, I'm going to very, very carefully come up against the side of the chip here. I'm just kind of running this blade along the side of the actual chip, not touching the little capacitors here. I'm using this little plastic spatula to just kind of scrape away in some of the areas where I can't get the brush to quite grab. I'm not putting any force at all, just using the weight of my fingers and letting this little spatula do the rest of the work. So got that mostly cleaned up. Try to grab some of this junk out of here. I'm not putting any pressure on this brush whatsoever. What I'm going to do, I'm going to set this just right on top. I'm going to let that soak. Off screen, I'm going to blow this board off and I'll be back. Alright, so I got that all cleaned up, blown off, no moisture. I'll show you guys this real quick. Isn't that cool? So I kind of want to gauge. They're pretty thick. Doesn't have to be perfect, because it is going to squish out. And this is non-conductive, so when it squishes out, don't have to worry too much. I'm doing just kind of a test fit right now, to see how much I'm gonna need. So I don't want to overdo it, because I already don't have a lot of this stuff. So it's looking a bit thicker, so I'd probably go with a little bit less. We're just going to chop that off. I'm not making this the exact shape. I'm not going for perfection, because this will squish out, very similar to paste. I just want to make sure that I'm getting it covered for the most part. And that I'm not using more than I need. Alright, we're all back together and nothing's broken, so let's look at some charts. I wasn't expecting a major difference, but for the 5 to 6 degree change, I did notice a pretty decent uplift in performance. About 100 MHz average increase on the core clock, and no change in memory speeds since we are already under the thermal limit, but at the very least I'd like to think that lowering the temps has helped extend the lifespan, even if only slightly. For 3D Mark, I ran Times by Extreme 4 times before and 4 times after and got an average of a 200 point increase, which for only changing out the thermal pads and paste is not a bad result. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the results, and I've been looking for a reason to tinker with things and figured this would make for some good content. In the future, I may consider doing another custom water-cooled loop, so stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you in the next.